Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We almost got our upgrade system complete yesterday, right? So we've got all of these custom dialog boxes rendering based on if you can afford the upgrade or if the upgrade is locked. So if you can afford it, it'll be a green outline. If you've got it unlocked, it'll say that and it'll be a black outline. If it's 2 levels out of your pay range, we've got this info table line 3, which is incorrect. So we'll need to fix that. So yeah, we need to calculate the level 3 if a current level of 1. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so if our active level is 1, see, look, I thought we were setting this. We are setting this result table that determines the color, but we do need to set the info table, which tells what it is. So we know that if we're in active level 1, we know that all of the info tables will be the same, and it'll say you have to upgrade, or you cannot upgrade. What's the wording? We say in order to upgrade, you have to have it first. So look, level 3. There we go. So if active level 1, then it doesn't matter what table we're at. Oh, actually, yeah, it does, because we need to know what thing we're trying to render. So in the info table here, we'll say, well, level 3, we'll go level 3 Flamma requires level 2 Flamma first. Yo, Salto, what up? How's it going, dude? So we need to do this for every type, but it'll be easy. We just substitute Flamma for whichever element it is. I'm hoping we can get this done today because we've got stuff to get to. Okay. This is like the last of the complicated stuff to program, though. You know, maybe minus the cinematic for when you correctly play the lute song, but that could be as simple as a manufactured state machine that we just control the rendering for, like, so we can kind of just do it however we want, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so that's the last of the active ones. So it should mean that when we talk to Flamma here, it should say that level 3 Flamma is unavailable, requires level 2 Flamma first. So one thing I am noticing is that if we press a space and then move it, it basically requires 2 button presses to close the thing here. So, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't know, because basically we have all the UI. We just need to basically say, well, if you press on a selection item whose result table is equal to purchasable, then we need to make the purchase. So we would need to deduct from our inventory whatever the cost is. We need to update the active element to be the level that we are currently selected. And then at that point, pressing space again would close the bar, close the menu. Because right now, you know, I'm not sure why it doesn't advance right away. I kind of thought that pressing space would close the dialog box since we're on the last page. But maybe, I mean, clearly something isn't working altogether like that. But, you know, part of me thinks that this is okay to keep it like this because there's no traditional... I mean, you can press B to close it, but we don't ever tell the player that. So if they're just kind of like... If they're in it like this, right? It's nice for them to be able to close it just by pressing A. Well, see, and that's weird. Oh, it's not until it's finished printing is what it is. Okay, so as long as the thing is finished printing, we can close it with one button press. Okay. So there's one other thing, right? Like, before we add, or as we add the ability to actually purchase the thing, instead of just closing... Actually, yeah, why does... You know what? I mean, it's weird because it's like the way it's broken is actually helpful to us, because only on a purchasable item does it not go away. Well, if we have it unlocked and we press the A button, it closes it right away, which is good. But if it's like, dude, okay, I don't know what's going on here because I can't figure out what requires 2 button presses to advance it or not. So this is kind of strange. Not super happy with that. I'd like it to just be consistent, but I can't think of what would be causing this other than the A button count. But no, A button count is just controlling the text to render in the first place, character by character. So let's see what happens. Like, in our dialog box object, we're doing this check, and we're checking if the action button is pressed, like right here. If the action button is pressed, then we're going to check the current page, and if the current page is equal to the page length, then we basically just reset this whole dialog box object. So the only thing I could think of is that the A button count on whatever dialog box isn't getting set right. That's the only thing I can think of. So let's print up the A button count on every dialog box and just kind of see if it's different on the first one versus the second one, because we get 2 button presses needed for the second spell here before we close the dialog box. So we're going to print up the A button count, and we're going to concatenate that with our own A button count variable. We'll print it up at maybe a 40 on the Y, and let's just see. Because this A button count is spawned when we initialize a dialog box text object. See, look, button count is 1. Therefore, oh, see, look at this. Oh, that's what we're looking for. Because, yeah, it doesn't clear until this button count is 1 and space is pressed if the thing is done printing. So if it's printing and you hit it, it'll advance the button count, but it won't actually close it until you hit it after it's done printing. So this does seem to be it. We just need to make sure that we're not flushing the button count upon a new selection. So I can't tell. Let's see if it's flushing on every one of them. I think it is. Yeah, it flushes to 0 upon any one of them. So yeah. So I actually don't know when this is happening, when this is flushing. We could just set the button count equal to 1 anytime we update it. It might be nicer though to kind of see why it's flushing it. I think it's in the reinit. Yeah, we have this function called reinit. Yeah, and this is probably setting it back to 0. It is. Hey Loki, what's up? Let's see. A button count. See, the reinit does set it back to 0. I'm curious if we set it to 1, if it'll fix it or if it'll break the advancement. Actually, this should be fine because we only reinit here. Oh, see, why does it go flush to 0 here? Why does it flush to 0 there? Is this in the init and not the reinit? Yes, it is. Okay, so in the reinit. That's so bad. A button count gets 1 in the reinit. Yeah. Okay. Okay, button count is 2, which is incorrect because, well, actually it did what we wanted it to do, which is just to close it if our button count was more than 1. Because that's the only thing we're checking the button count for, and if we switch it, it becomes 1. So if they're done printing, it does exit upon a single press. So it's kind of like, I mean, it doesn't matter that this is a 2, even though it's incorrect, because the functionality result is the same. So we don't really need to fix it beyond that, because it's fixing the issue that we did find. So I think I'm okay with that. It doesn't give us the right value for a button count. I guess the only difference is if it's wrong here, but it is not wrong here. So it's totally fixed or totally normal on the normal signpost dialog objects. So I think this is totally fine. Okay. So next we got to actually do the purchase, right? So if like the UI kind of tells you whether or not you can afford something, and if you click it and you can't afford it, meaning you either have it unlocked already or you can't afford it, it might play a little Family Feud buzzer signifying you got it wrong. But if you do have it, it should give you like a little ding, and it should update your inventory count as well as your active level, as well as recalculate your options. So that would mean well, now it's going to be checking level 3 not based on if it requires a level 2 first, because you have level 2, so then it would update so that level 3 would say, okay, well now you need to have 50 rubies for it to be unlockable, and it'll be red because no one will have that at that point. But we basically have to just do the upgrade now. So all right, should be easy. I don't know why I'm like hesitant. Okay, so let's try it here. We have this refinery state that holds the active upgrade once we trigger it. So here in the active upgrade, whenever we set purchasable, well actually it's like, oh, you know what, there is one thing else. There's one thing else. We actually want, if the thing is upgradable, like level 2 here, we want a button count to actually be 0 here, because if we hit A and it's purchasable, it'll just exit, when what we really want is for it to play the sound, deduct your inventory, update your current active level, recalculate your options. And the player should kind of see that it's doing that to give them that feedback. Oh, you bought it. You can see that you're up to level 2 and now it's black outline instead of green. And then it'll say, you've already unlocked level 2 Flama, sort of deal. So, we kind of need to set button count to 0 if the result table is that of a purchasable, so that we don't accidentally close the table by the time they purchase it. So it's like, it's kind of hacky the way we're doing it, kind of. It's just like a simpler way for the UI, because instead of like you scrolling to yes or no, you scrolling to the option tells you what's available. And if you can't do anything with it, it'll close the dialog. So like, instead of giving the player that extra dialog box option selector, we make the selector part of the UI. So it's kind of unique, I guess. But it makes for less, I guess, less mistakes. I don't know. Oh my god. So yeah, we have this branching conditional stuff. This is just in the calculate, so this is okay. In the update, yeah, so in the update here, oh man, okay, this is a little harder than I thought, because this is the update for the upgrade element. So we need to check. I mean, I guess we could, because like the issue is when we press space, what's triggering the dialog box to close is our dialog box update. So if we were to put some conditional logic here in the upgrade element based on the active upgrade, I guess that's okay. So I think we need to set button count to 0 on purchasable options. Okay, so what that entails is looping through our options, which we have it. We have a selection table and a result table. So we'll cycle through the result table. Now the good thing is the button count is just here on the actual, oh, it's on the dialog box. I guess that makes sense. So depending on the active type, we have to change a different index's a button count if the purchasable result table at the current selected option is a string equal to purchasable. So first thing, let's just cycle through the Flama elements. If our type is Flama on this upgrade, then we're going to ask if our result table at index selection is equal to that string that says purchasable, then we want to actually flush our dialog box's a button count to be equal to 0 instead of 1. So we will say, it's just like this, where it's index 2 is our dialog box for Flama. So we'll say index 2 of our dialog box a button count gets set to be equal to 0 instead of 1. Let's just see if that works for Flamma, and then we'll expand it for the others. So button count is level 2, but if we're at a purchasable, it's at 0, which means we press A once. Oh shit. Yeah, it keeps flushing it to 0. We only need to do this upon a button press, not a... yeah, we only want to do this upon a button press. So if our input is pressed and it's the action button, then we're going to check our type, and then we're going to set... Oops. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Oh, come on, man. What are you doing? Can't believe it's 9:30 already. Okay. Yes. Actually, no, not 0. We want it to... Or, yeah, not 1. We want it to be equal to 0. So it's almost like we're flushing it right before we set it, so that is still incorrect. Well... It makes sense that we would change the A button count if up or down is pressed, but why is it changing back to 1 when we look for an action press? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we did this kind of weird because it's like the A button count should be set upon the selection, not upon the action press. But let's say it's 1 like this. We hit 1, it goes to 2. Oh, this is jacked up. Okay. It actually seems to be working. No, that's incorrect. Yeah, it really does need to get set to 0 here. Okay. Let's try it one more time here. Let's wait till it finishes printing, then we'll try to hit space. Wow, it really doesn't like that. It just constantly sets it. Okay, well, I think we want to do this upon the selection. So we kind of have to, by the time we're updating our selection based on a up or down input, we have to check, well, is the result table of our current selection equal to a purchasable string? If so, set our button count to 0 and not 1. Let's try that. This is in the update function, but it only updates upon an input of up or down, so I think it might work. We need to set it to 0, not 1. We do set it to 0. Well, this would have to be after the reinit so we don't accidentally redo our A button default value. So maybe this will work. Okay, that does set it to 0. That means we press once and then it'll update, and then we press once and it goes off. So I think that's right. Everything else has a button count higher than 1, so it'll go away as soon as we press it, unless it is a purchasable upgrade. Then it basically, ooh, that one was different because we hit space before it was done printing. Okay. Yeah, I think it's right. It's only right for Flamma, but actually we can do it in general. We update our selection. Oh, we'd have to do it after our init. Our reinit, I should say. So after we update it, no matter what type it is, we update our A button count, but then we say, okay, if the result table is actually purchasable at this new selection, then we're going to actually flush our A button count to be back to 0 so that we don't accidentally close the dialog box when the player is actually trying to purchase the upgrade. That looks right. Okay. So now we can do the actual upgrade. Okay, so an upgrade would be an action button press. So we don't have any action button press logic in our upgrade element. We have it only in the update logic for the dialog box objects themselves. So I think we can do this where after we check our inputs and upgrade our cursor, let's just go ahead and do a check for a level advancement. So we're gonna listen for an A button input, and then we need to basically determine whether or not we could actually afford the thing we just clicked on, because yeah, it's gonna be something like this, which is if it's purchasable, right? So we can say, well, if the result table at index of our self selection, if that is equal to something that can be purchased, then we want to handle the purchase, right? So handling the purchase requires a couple of different things. It requires what the purchase cost. It requires your current inventory of your selected upgrade element object. And then it needs to do the arithmetic and then update your selected active level, as well as reinit the dialog box, as well as recalculate the result table color for your selection. Jesus. It's got to do a lot of stuff, but luckily we've got, you know, like let's just try something where we're just going to say, you know what, all this thing actually does is delete all of our rubies. For right now, let's just see. So like we're going to see if it doesn't delete our rubies if we press it on an unpurchasable item. So if we already have this unlocked, which we do, we press spacebar and it didn't wipe our rubies, but it did close the dialog box. But if we don't have it on level 3, we hit space, it closes it, but it didn't get rid of our rubies. If we hit space on a purchasable level 2, it flushes our rubies to 0, and then the next time we press, it exits, which is the intended design. So now we just need to basically, you know, we kind of, if we abstract this out into like a handleUpgrade, right? And the upgrade takes in a type of element, right? So we would pass in the type of element here, self.type. We'd pass in the upgrade for the current type of this element. Then we just need to handle this upgrade. So we can define this handleUpgrade method as, oops, okay. If we do this, we can say, okay, there is a function and it is called handleUpgrade on this class here. And it takes in a type. Okay, so we basically want to say, well, if the type is equal to Flamma, then we want to update our ruby count by subtracting. We take our current ruby count and we subtract the amount it costs, which we have as a variable self selection cost table at index of our current selection. So when we handle this upgrade, we're going to update our ruby count to be 1 cost less from our inventory. So subtract the cost from our inventory if it's of type Flamma. So I'm going to test and see if that works. I think, don't we have 25 and it costs 25? Okay, that did not work. handleUpgrade. handleUpgrade, we pass in a type. handleUpgrade. Okay. handleUpgrade takes in a type. If the type's equal to Flamma. Oh, flame. We put flame. If it's equal to Flamma, then we're going to update our ruby count. Let's try that again. Okay. Now, refine Flamma to level 2 for 25 rupees. We hit space. It deducts us to 0. We hit space again. It takes us off. So that's good. Let's just make sure that if we give ourselves 28 rubies, it leaves us with 3, because it shouldn't flush us to 0. It should just subtract what we have from our inventory. Yo, Brunkt, what's up? Yo, we're trying to get these upgrades working. So now, if I press space, it should spend 25 rubies from our inventory, which it does. It takes us down to 03 rubies, and then another space will remove it. So that's good, but we do need to do a couple of more things. We need to upgrade, we need to upgrade the active level. Yeah, we need to upgrade the active level. We need to recalculate all of our selections. Yes, Brunt, yeah, yesterday was gnarly. We kind of did all of that text stuff. So we're actually implementing the actual upgrade, where yesterday was the UI for it. So I think the idea here is just we need to take our active level and we just need to increment it. But the difference is we only want to do this. we want to basically pass in 2 arguments to this math.min and say this number can't go past 3. So if we upgrade to level 3, I guess it won't even get to that point because you can't upgrade to level 3 because there's no cost for it, but that's something to maybe check. So we're just going to increment our active level here, and then we want to actually also recalculate the options. So I'm hoping when we buy this upgrade, the little black arrow on the left moves to level 2, and then the box that is highlighted goes from a green purchasable to a black unlocked. And then the next level would hopefully update the next info table as well. Okay, so this is level 3 Flama, requires level 2 first, and it's red. This one is green on level 2. We can buy it. Shit. It closed. It gave us the upgrade. It did the new active level set, but it closed our window. And I don't know why. Active level. Shoot, that was really close. I don't know why it closed that. Let's try it again. Let me wait. I'm going to wait till all the text is done printing, because I know, yeah. Yeah, good enough for EA. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, so that is jacked up. If you press it before it's done printing, it messes up. But wow, okay, it did upgrade the info table. It did upgrade our active level. That's great. It's just that if you try to press it before the text is done printing, it prematurely closes the text box, but it gives you the upgrade. Actually, it didn't do it that time. What the hell did we do different? We didn't do anything different, and it's just working now. Maybe I'm just that good. Yeah, it's just working now. It was probably never broken in the first place. I was probably perfect at implementing this. Okay, we're going to check the other types. I have no faith that bug is not reproducible. Like, I think we can make that bug again. I don't know how though, but basically we just need to, and you know what, we don't even like really need to do this just yet. I mean, we could. It's just that you can't get any elements of other type than Ruby in the demo so far, so you're never going to be able to purchase it, so it's always going to just close the window on you. So we technically don't need to do all this just yet, but it would be easy enough to just plop it in here. Yeah, maybe we'll do it. It's pretty easy because we basically just need to handle, we need to upgrade the active level of whatever type we are and then recalculate. But we need to deduct our count from whatever appropriate thing, like Aquis is Sapphire. Okay, so we just deduct whatever the active element is from our inventory, and then we upgrade our active level and then recalculate our selections. So that should be it, other than we need to check our, what is it? Oh my. We need to, when we go to calculate the result or to handle the upgrade, yeah, we need to do this Oh, actually, yeah, this is actually fine. Because it'll only handle the upgrade if the thing you were selected on is purchasable. So we already kind of handled that. And whatever is purchasable is dependent on the current type of upgradable element it is. So right now they're all the same, like it goes 10, 25, 50 for the upgrades with the respective minerals. So let's just do a little testing and see. Because this should remain unchanged, right? Where we can't upgrade anything. But if we were to give ourselves, let's try this on like locks, for example, where we say, okay, well, our topaz count is going to be 15 for the first upgrade, 25 for the next. So that'll be 40. And then 50. I mean, let's just give us 99 topaz. Because I think what will happen, you can't really go from... Because see how we've got 99. Level 1 says, oh, creating it costs 10. If you hit it, you actually bought it. Actually, that's not working. Because it wasn't purchasable. Yeah, this should be purchasable because we have 10. So that isn't quite working. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. We had this working. Yeah, it doesn't care that we've got 10 topaz. So if level 0's unlocked, so here in the upgrade element, if our active level is equal to 0, then all of them are unavailable, which isn't technically right. Yeah, we basically need to say that certain ones are available if you have enough money for it, right? So we need something like this, because instead of it being unavailable, it's okay that we start them as unavailable, but as we cycle through the type, we basically need to say like, oh, well, if your ruby count is actually greater than the selection cost of that first price, then the result table of that first price is now purchasable. Instead of the result table being unavailable. So let's just test it for, let's test it for locks and we'll see, because we should be able to do this for topaz count. Yes, so we're saying, okay, well, if we actually have enough topaz to buy the first upgrade, then that's where it's actually purchasable on the first level. And we have 99, so we should be able to get all the upgrades here. But I think it would close the table after the second upgrade. Okay, so it is purchasable, but it closes right away. It gave us the upgrade, but it closed right away. And then same thing there. It gave us the update, but it closed. Then it gave us the update, but it closed. So the update's working, but what isn't working is our A button count. So that is a little weird. Gosh. How has it been 55 minutes on stream already? Yeah, because this should all be... A button should be 0 on a purchasable object, which it is just not. So A button count. Oh, we have a hard-coded... Yeah, we only have this for Llama. This is wrong. Yeah, we need to do this based on the type. Yeah, we need to do this based on the type. So when we do this, after we reinit it, we have to ask, after we know it is a after we know it's a type Flamma, Flamma tells us that it's this dialog box too. So we do have to kind of do this for each one because we're modifying a different upgradable dialog box based on the type of upgrade. So yeah, we just need to modify the same. Yeah, we could just snag the index for this upgradable object and then just do this once. We definitely could do that. Probably a lot cleaner, but let's see. We're looking for a button count to be 0, which it is not. So yeah, see, it's working here. It's saying 0 on a purchasable object, which, oh my gosh, it broke again. Okay, we're on a purchasable object. It's an A button count of 0, but if we switch off it and come back, it doesn't do it. So it looks like we might have only done this on a down count, yeah, instead of an up count as well. So I don't like this. Yeah. This is the 5th dialog box. The 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Okay, let's see. We're looking for a button count of 0 on every purchasable item. Purchasable A button 0, purchasable A button 0. That works. Let's test locks. Didn't do it there because we're only doing it if you select it. So it does work there, and then it does work there, and then it does work there. So that's good. But we do need to initialize A button count to 0 if by the time we first update this, we need to set it to 0, not just based on an input. So maybe, oh man, yeah, I mean, maybe we just have to do this. We can pull out this logic out of the up and down movement and just put it on, well, no, I think this is okay. We should just have to check this one more time once we actually reinit the object in the first place. So I think in a refinery state, when we go to like initialize it, where do we snag the upgrade? Right here. So after we reinit it here, we're gonna do that same check. Yeah, so if we get a new, yeah, this is the action press to trigger the upgrade dialog. It's hard, yeah, it's hard because we don't want to do it every time. We just want to do it if you can actually purchase the thing you're selected on. So let's try this just for locks and see if it fixes it, because this should be on the 5th dialog box. If it's purchasable after we, this is, oh yeah, okay, it is after we calculate, so we should have whether or not it's purchasable. So I'm hoping that a button count is 0 when we go and click this locks. Oopsie. Result table is not part of self, it is part of the upgradable. It is part of the self.upgrade active upgrade. Yes. Let's try that. So yeah, we're looking for a button count of 0 on this level 1 locks. Yo, I'm happy that's the case, Bunked. Yeah, it's not working still. Yeah, we're looking for this A button to be 0 once we initialize this dialog box, and it's only doing it if we swap to it based on an input press. So that tells me that we're probably just not doing this right. Like, we don't have a selection. Like, we pull. Let's look at our active upgrade calculate, because I believe we calculate the active selection. We calculate the selection. Oh no. Let's see. Self selection. Oh man. See, our self selection gets updated upon a button press, not upon an initialization. So where, yeah, what do we init it to? Just 1. It isn't quite right. Yeah, it isn't quite right, because if we have enough money for a level 3 upgrade and our current active level is 2, our button count should be 0 and not 1, because the index of the selected option was a purchasable item. But we're not doing that. I thought that what we would do right here would have done it here in the refinery state. Yeah, we're saying, well, if our active upgrades, yeah, we're checking the table. The result table is what populates after we calculate the thing, but also we're calculating it after we reinitialize the dialog box itself. So that is a little weird to me. Because reinit is just changing the dialog box object, but what we're trying to do is check the upgrade element object. Yeah, so the reinit of the dialog box doesn't have anything to do with the result table. So I would think that this would work, because our active upgrade, when we initialize it, is 1. We copy that into the active upgrade. We do set our selection and we calculate. So let's see. Set selection. Yeah, we make our selection equal to the active level, which in Lox's case is 0. Oh, okay. Since Lox is an active level 0, we need to set our selection. Well, we do that here. We say, okay, I think we just, if our active level is 0, then our selection is 1. Otherwise, our selection is the active level. Okay, so our selection is 1, because that's what's highlighted when we go to click it. And then we say, yeah, that's just for the rendering. So our self-selection is set to the active level, so that's good. But here, when we go and say, well, let's set the active result, or we're asking if the result table at the index of this selection is purchasable or not. So it's probably just not being registered as purchasable. Yo, thanks, Brunked. Thanks for hanging. Have a good night. It is purchasable, but it is not a button 0. Okay. What the heck is going on? Oh, it's not the dialog box a button count. Right? I think it's the a button count on the upgrade item. No, it is on the dialog box. Yeah, it's on the dialog box. Okay. So the issue here, oh man, I don't know, because that's the right index, because it goes 2 is Flamma, 3, 4, 5 would be locks here. And we're checking, yeah, if that 5th dialog box. Okay, so let's just say, like, just to test, let's just say, you know what, if we're locks, a button count is already 0 upon the init. Because if it's getting reset somewhere else, then nothing we do here will fix it. Yeah. So it's not even getting, it's getting set to 1 after this point in time. So doing anything here won't fix anything. So we do need to find where we're setting this active button count, or a button count. So, oh my gosh. Okay. This is only upon an input. This is only upon an input. Part of me just wants to say that in our update, regardless of input, if the result table at self-selection is purchasable, then make sure, we can't set it to 0 there because we need to increment it. If we just set it in the update, it'll always get set to 0. But I don't see where we're updating it. We'd have to be updating it in the dialog box. We'd have to. Okay, we set it to 1 upon this button press. Okay. So yeah, so it's like, since we're updating our element upgrades before we're updating our dialog box, we'll always have a button count of 1. Unless we do some checks in here for the active upgrade items. So I'm not sure where to fix this. Yeah, because our A button count is getting set here. Now our dialog box doesn't really have any idea what's going on with our upgrade element, which I guess is an issue. Yeah, we need to increment this button count. I mean, we could have a separate counter for any upgrade element spacebar presses. That would fix this issue. But a button count already doesn't really make a lot of sense, so it's weird to put in another variable, but I don't know, we gotta fix it somehow. So it's almost like I don't know. There's gotta be a easier way. Like, I mean, I guess if we were to update our dialog box before we update our active upgrade, then maybe that would fix it. So where are we actually updating our active upgrade? We update it in the refinery state. So if we were to do it after we update our dialog box objects, which we do that right here, we upgrade our dialog boxes, Then let's update our active upgrade. That might fix it, but it also might break some other stuff. Yeah. We don't have a result table. Is that really all we changed? Let's just try to move this back up. We'll see if that's the only thing that was busted. Huh. What did we change? Okay, I'm going to leave the update active upgrade after our dialog box update, but I'm going to go back to the play state, was it? Where do we trigger? Oh, God. Oh man, I'm so lost. What did we change that is breaking this? I think it's in... It says a refinery state 44, but I think it's when we init. It's saying there's no result table for our refinery state, but our 44, there's no result table for our refinery state. Yeah, there is not. So why, how? This is the wrong... Okay, that's the wrong thing. We need to check the result table from the active upgrade. Okay, now we're just not updating... now we're just not updating our upgrade element at all. Okay, actually it's in our refinery state. Yeah, we're gonna move this active upgrade update. Wait a second. Where did this extra end come from? This should be outside of this. Okay, let's try this. That was like 3 weird-ass bugs all at once. Okay. So it looks like we have the A button correct at 0, but let's check locks. See, this should be purchasable. See, this is jacked up. This one isn't purchasable because our active level is 0 here when it should... Our active level should not be reassigned here. I thought we had here that if our active level of 0 else... Okay. Active level should be set to 0 for locks. Selection is 1, but active level should stay as 0. But active level is actually 1 on locks, which is incorrect. Yeah, we shouldn't have the active level. So that tells me, yeah, we're setting something wrong here. I'm kind of curious if we did something wrong. We did say self-selection gets active level, so we didn't change anything there. We shouldn't be modifying the active level. Yeah, I don't see where we're changing the active level. Other than, where did we move this? Let's move our active upgrade before the input detection in the refinery state, and let's just see if that fixes our problem. Because that's the only thing I could see that we changed. That might change the active level. Okay, it does. Okay, so that breaks. Fuck, man, fuck. We're not getting the right A button count again. Well, it's like now we're not even getting it on. Shit, dude. We're setting active level to be 1 here when we should not be. Right? If it's type Flamma, we're active level 1 because we have it unlocked. Oh no, we're active. Yeah, active level should be 1 here. What the hell? What the fuck? We set an active level of 0 for basically everything. But then we're overriding it with active level 1 for some reason. Because this, yeah, this is still active level 1 when that's wrong too. So we don't reassign it here. Where the hell are we doing that? It's weird to me because this was working perfect. And then we tried to change the order of our update and then it just kind of broke everything. Yo, hey, you're welcome, Salto. Yeah, I'm glad it's gonna keep coming together. So like, I'm curious, you know, I'm gonna change the database design now knowing what I know with the current setup, but it'll be so easy and the deployment is really easy. So whenever I make a change, I just need to basically just reboot the server and then it spins up in like 20 seconds. So it's like really nice. It's cool. Like I was surprised that we got it working today already. So I'm happy that it's live. You know, you probably shouldn't share it until we get the other pages done, but the fact that it's live right now and you can show people is really cool. What is going on? Our active level is jacked up. And I don't see where we changed it. You know, let's, like, if we undo this old active level in the upgrade element init, does it... Yeah, let's swap these again. But like that's wrong. Like looking at the code, that's the opposite of what it should be. But it did used to work. So what's going on? Because they're actually, yeah, that. Oh, it's does not equals Flamma. Okay, that is technically right. Okay, that makes sense. And then, but we're still not selecting. Yeah, see, so we're not going back to A button count as 0 when we select this thing, which that used to be working. So does that mean that we changed the order of something? Okay, we did take... No, that's okay, that's okay. Alright, we moved... Dude, I don't know what's wrong. Yo, it is so hot in my room right now. It is not cool. Fuck. I'm gonna take a quick break and get a drink, and then I'll be right back. What the heck? I leave for 1 second and a freaking spammer bot comes in? Okay. Okay, I don't know what to even try here, because this was working. I can't see anything we changed in our get diff. Which means it was before our commit that we got it working again, so... the workingness of it is in the ether, lost in the ether somewhere. So we kind of just have to get good here. Okay, so what we did was we changed our A button count to be initialized on. We basically wanted to say if we go to select a thing, like right here in the upgrade element, if it's a purchasable thing, we need to make sure our button count is 0 for that purchasable thing, so that by the time you press A to purchase it, the dialog box doesn't close. And we do it for both an up press and a down press. And we're setting the A button count based on the purchasability of this result table at your selection. So this result table is just a table of strings. Index 1 is the string result of if you can purchase it or not, right? So it's like it's either purchasable, unavailable, or I forget the last value. Unavailable, unlocked is you already have it. So that's what the result table is. So let's just print up the result table. Well, actually, and the other hack for this is like the color of the box is what it is set to. So since this is purchasable, it's green. This is red, so it's unavailable. So we know that that is right because we can afford this 10 locks because we have 99, which is more than 10. But what isn't right is the A button count. And the A button count isn't even working if we select it again, which I just showed you the code of that. Because we're checking the result table of our current upgrade element. And we're saying if it's purchasable, aka if it's green outline, we're going to set the A button count to 0 here. So we must be, you know, we do two things. Like in the dialog box, we also upgrade or increment the A button count, which is one reason I think this is breaking. Because we do this here. Well, this is our touch. So this would be, gosh, A button count. Yeah, we update this here upon an action press. So if we're updating our dialog box after our upgraded items, then this will be the incorrect value. So in our refinery state, let's go see when we're updating our active elements, which what is this? This is where we're updating our dialog box. Where did we move this? We're basically saying, well, if there's an active dialog box, what are we doing, dude? We're only updating a dialog box if we have an active dialog ID. Okay, that makes sense. But so like this is where the update is. So that is after we update our element upgrade, which is right here. So if we were to update, because we're incrementing that A button count to be +1 after we update this. So let's try to move our element active upgrade beneath this. But I thought last time we tried that, it just didn't update our thing at all. Well, it seems to work. See, other than here, right, this active level is wrong. Only on Topaz. Only on locks here. This is weird. Oh, we must have... Did we accidentally buy it already? Whoa, we like instantly bought it. Yeah, we like instantly bought it. Because we put 99 in our Topaz count. So once we press space, since our... Well, I don't know why it does it. But yeah, we like instant bought it because now we have 89. This, I don't think this is a huge issue because this won't show up in the demo, but I would like it to be fixed. So why do we instant buy it by the time we press space on it? Well, if we look at our upgrade element and we ignore the inputs, we just look at what we update outside of the inputs, and we're saying, well, if action was pressed, then we're going to handle upgrade because the selection was purchasable because we had enough to buy it. So that makes sense that we would instant buy it. Now this, yeah, so if the selection, if the selection is purchasable, then we're going to instant buy it. So we need to fix that. We can also do this if the A button count is greater than 0, right? We only handle this. And no, dude, I hear you with that too. That sucks ass too sometimes. Yeah. Is that where you kind of script it like you say first you file open, then you file canvas resize, then you file export, save as PNG, whatever the hell. I definitely remember doing that at some point. Oh, it makes sense because you're talking about, yeah, it makes sense because I know what you're doing. So yeah, I feel ya. Yeah, and also Salto, I'm thinking for the I think for the portfolio page, what we can do too is like you can scroll through it, but it'd be cool if you click on it, it would pop open a little modal of like a full screen, bigger size element of it. I think that would be cool, so that if people wanted to see it closer, they can tap it and it kind of expands. So I'm gonna try to work on that too. I think that would be cool. Salto, I had, so like at my apartment complex, they left me this thing saying like the annual, semi-annual fire inspections are happening this week sometime, and I was there working on your website, and I utterly destroyed the bathroom. And I came out and it was like it's way worse than normal, right? Right? Like I came out, I was like, that was bad. I sit down. 2 seconds after I sit down, I hear a knock on the door, and it's the fire inspection guys. So I let them in, and dude, this is like, it's like 10 seconds fresh. It's like 10 seconds fresh. They're like, all right, we gotta check all the rooms. And the first place they walk into is the freaking bathroom. Oh, it was bad, dude. I was like, they know it was me. I was the only one home. They knew it was me. but just the timing was like unreal. Okay, so I'm curious if we just don't handle this upgrade for now. Like, let's just see what the A button count should be. Dude, it was like, it was it was so bad. It was like literally like 20 seconds fresh in there. See, look, if we don't handle the upgrade, it's purchasable. And it's not a button count 0. Huh. I felt pretty bad. But like, it's particularly funny because it was like, even if that had not happened today, in like 3 days time, I would have been like, man, that was a bad one. You know, like it was an abnormally bad one. Yeah, they were like, these guys don't have enough work to do. I know. I told Gene, I was like, maybe they can file for workers' comp for the damage they incurred today. You know, if they knew what was gone through, I think they would be amenable. Okay, so our button count is wrong on a freaking... Our button count is wrong still. It's only right here on a freaking llama. So if it's purchasable... Oh my gosh, dude, this is like the weirdest of bugs. Because our button count should be 0 here because in our upgrade element, as we cycle through... Yeah, dude, yeah, if you had one of those Geiger counters, they would be going off the chart. You'd be like, bro, where did you come from? Get out of here. You're gonna make my skin melt. We know it's purchasable, yet the A button count is still incorrect. And we do this for every dialog box. So anytime the dialog box is green, which means it's purchasable, we're setting a button count to 0 when we go over it. But there's another part where we're setting it here particularly for locks. So maybe that's what's throwing it off. Yeah, dude. It's still wrong. It's still wrong. Well, why, dude? Why? Because it seems like this stuff isn't doing anything anymore. Because we're on a type locks. We know that the thing is purchasable because we're rendering green for that selection. So at this point, it should have an A button count of 0. Like, unless we screwed up, I don't know, like unless we screwed up some other part, which we did move our active upgrade to be updated after our dialog box, but I would think that would give us a more accurate count of our A button count. But this is the only thing that was different. Dude, this is driving me crazy because this was just working. This was working only on the up inputs. See, like there, why does A button count become 2 there, 2 there, 1 there? What the fuck? Yeah, it's got to be that update, that increment. But it's only incrementing in the dialog box once we press action, not once we scroll. If we have a down input, we don't do anything with the dialog box. So what the hell's going on? And especially because we're not doing anything to the A button count here, and we are only setting it, we're only ever setting it to 0 here, you know, after you know, we increment it, but we re-init our dialog box, which should actually flush it. Let's turn this increment off and see. What the fuck, dude? See, I think that's unnecessary, this A button count. Dude, what's going on? I have to look through the git diff again because something is not adding up. We could do our undo tree back to where it worked if we knew. What the heck? Maybe not. We've only got like 3 undo trees. What the heck? Okay, I mean, I'm just gonna go through. I want to turn this stuff off again and see what's up. Because basically the first thing we did today was make sure that if it was a purchasable thing, it had a button count higher than 1. So the fact that this is so jacked up, why would it be a 1, a 0, and a... What the fuck, dude? Okay, we'll turn it off for both inputs. Okay, let's just see, you know, let's just take it step by step and we'll try to get the right A button count again. So this is not correct because it'll purchase it. Well, we're not handling the purchase, but yeah, if it is a active purchase, our button count needs to go down to 0 here. So I thought that's what we did here, but obviously that is just not working. That's like the only thing we changed in this commit regarding the A button count. So other than our reinit going back to 0, maybe we change that back to 0 and just see if that helps. Oh gosh, did I? Oh man, I just killed our session. Fucking shit. T-Muck. Okay. What we're trying to do is we're going to change our reinit in our upgrade element to go back to a button count of 0, not 1. And it's actually in our dialog box reinit. So in our reinit, when we do our A button count, we're switching it back to 0 here. And then we're going to just look at the values for our A button count depending on the selection. Okay, so A button count is 0. It needs to go... Yeah, that's wrong. This is okay. That fixed it more than it's been, so... We're basically looking... Shit. Yeah, we don't want it to turn 0 every time we reinit, which is why we changed it to reinit to a count of 1. But if we were to increment it upon a move change, well, that's just so weird. Yeah, we shouldn't do that either. So this is busted. So leaving it at 1, we should have a button count of 1 anytime we switch it, because that's when we're reinitting. So anytime we switch it, it goes to a button count of 1. That means anytime you press a space, as long as the text is fully printed, it'll close the dialog box. So the issue here is when we reinit, if the thing we're on is purchasable, like right here, our A button count needs to be 0. Because we don't want to close the dialog box when we hit space. We want to do the purchase so that the player can see the purchase, and then the next count, the next time we advance the text, it'll close it, or B would close it right away. So with this set here, you know, let's just go on locks and we'll say, okay, well, if the thing is purchasable and we move down to it, which we'll also say if we move up to it, we also want this A button count for, well, that's one reason this would get jacked up. We need to be targeting the right dialog box index, which we did not do here. So let's test it now. What up, Matt? How's it going? I always know when you're here because there's a big old Rayquaza on screen. It's going okay. I mean, we're working on our upgrade systems, so we're almost there. We are getting an A button count of 0 here, which means, see, so here's the big issue is it's an A button count of 1 when we're on a purchasable item. It should be 0 here, but it does get the right value if we go away and go back to it, and then it does get the right value if we go on any other value. So that's almost right. We just need to account for the time when we instantiate on a selection where we can afford it and it's an active, it's a purchasable selection. We need to set our button count to 0 in that case. So right here, I'm going to say when we go to initialize it, after we reinitialize it. That'll go to a button count of 1. Then we're going to go say if it's a purchasable item, we're going to reset it back to 0. Oh yeah, they know it, dude. They know it. Yeah. The Sonic Kaio is it Kaio or Chao? I never know how to say it. I think I always called it Kaios when I played the games and stuff, but then in Sonic 3, they call it the Chow bar, I think, when they're at the bar. So I think it's canon that it's Chow. Yeah, I always called it Kaio too, man. Yeah, like chow, like get some chow. I think that's how it is. I think that's how I heard it in Sonic. Yeah, dude, I'm just remembering, like, cuz you would train him, right? Like I'm trying to remember, cuz you would hatch him, right? You would hatch him, and then you can get, like, you do the little mini games of, like, them doing like a speed run or a sprinting race or something, right? It's just not working here. I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, canon in the sense of how to pronounce things, maybe? Because I doubt they got it wrong in the movie, right? Like, there's no way they just guessed how to say it, right? Well, I don't know, because, I mean, last Airbender, they called him Ong. And that wasn't canon, so... Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the movie is just not canon. Look around you. There is Earth. Okay, well, the resets are working. It's just that here... See? Okay, so now I think maybe if we move in the refinery state... Maybe we just update our active thing after we update our dialog box, and maybe that'll fix it. Okay, yeah, I mean, I would definitely call it, I called it Kaio. I think I called it Kaio, not KO. But KO does make sense too. Okay. So yeah, so Chow, okay, so Chow is right. Okay. Nice. It's still wrong here, man. It is still wrong. It's wrong there too. Shit, man. Oh, fuck. Why? Okay, dude, this is so jacked up. Let's just go make sure we've got these turned on for all the appropriate indexes. Man, I was really hoping to be done with this today. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, there is a way to scale them. In Stream Avatar, there's a way to scale him down. Like, I can probably scale down Rayquaza so he doesn't take up a third of the screen. But yeah, if it depends on the person who made the plugin for whatever characters. Like right now, I've got some Marvel characters, some Pokemon, and Sonic, I think. So, but it's only the It's only the chows, I think. I don't think it's other Sonic. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now the button count is working when we have to move to the selection. It is also wrong on the very first pick, but that actually doesn't affect the correctness of what happens. So that's technically okay. It's just wrong. I guess that could be factoring into this. It could be factoring into this, causing it to be 1 instead of 2. So it's like, yeah, why do we have an A button count of 2? It's because when we hit space, it's counting an A button count for both the element upgrade as well as the dialog box. And regardless of if we did it for a dialog box or a element upgrade, we're incrementing it. So I would think, and that's why I thought that when we go and input it, that we're saying here, if by the time we collide with it, we're going into the dialog box and setting its A button count manually to be 0, which should prevent it from being 2, right? Because it should, we're getting the input in the refinery state, and then we initialize it, and then once we reinitialize it, it gets set to 0. Actually, yeah, it gets set to 0 here. And then we're setting it to 0. So yeah, we're already setting it to 0. What if when we initialize it, we set it to -1, just to see what the hell happens? Because yeah, what we were doing there was like super, like triply redundant almost, and incorrect. So here the button counts 0, which is correct, and then here it is 2, which is incorrect, but gives us correct behavior. So technically, this does solve the problem, other than, yeah, we have to make sure the text is done printing, and then it'll cancel. Okay, so technically this is correct in the terms of behavior, at least from what I can see. Because now if we talk to this thing, it's a button count of 0, meaning that once we press A, it'll give us the upgrade, and it won't close the dialog box. So it gave us the upgrade. We didn't do the deduction just yet. We didn't do the actual handle upgrade, which we can just turn back on because we had that handle upgrade right here. We'll turn that back on. That is cool to have a Minish Cap link. I am wanting, and maybe we'll do it soon, where I'll add all my characters into stream avatars. And then we can do different like hair colors for people or something too. Because it'd be cool to have my own characters up there on stream avatars, which would be cool. Okay, so we're gonna buy it. Now what's cool is we hit it to buy it. It doesn't close the dialog box. It did deduct our topaz. It did set our active level. It did not update our data table. But if we scroll away and come back to it, it says that we've already unlocked it. So I'm kind of curious what happens if we try to buy it twice. It just closed and we have it unlocked. So, okay, so it technically works. Yeah, it technically works. I would like it if handleUpgrade reinitialized the dialog box, which right now I don't think it is. If we do handleUpgrade, that's actually in our upgrade element, handleUpgrade. Yeah, handleUpgrade should also reinitialize our dialog box so that it would print up the new option that you're currently selected on. So it'll go from it costs 10 to upgrade this to you have already unlocked this thing by the time you upgrade it. So let's see if we can get the reinit here. Now what's tough is, actually we do have it. If we have the type, we could reinitialize it based on the dialog box, which Flama is 2, Aquis is 3. I just don't know if this would... Actually, yeah, I mean, this should work. Okay, we go to locks. It's a button count is 0 here because when we press it, it's purchasable, so it's going to deduct. Cool. It did change the oh, this is great. So yeah, we can walk up the tree. If we had enough topaz, you can just walk up. It'll become active. It'll say you've unlocked it. It deducts your spell, and then it makes the new one active for purchase, and it says every previous level's already unlocked. So it looks like it's working. Then if you can't buy it, you just can't buy it. It doesn't say you can't buy it, it just says it costs 10, and it closes the thing. This is okay. Yeah, I think this is good. You know, I mean, in a perfect world, it's a little more complicated than this, and it's a little more responsive, but it's already been a headache, and this gets the point across, and it's pretty simple. Like, it's red if you can't buy it, and it just closes because you can't buy it. It tells you what it is, and then it just closes. If you can afford to buy it, it'll let you buy it. It becomes active. It tells you you've unlocked it, and then it lets the next one, it lets you know how much the next level costs, and it says you've upgraded every previous level. So this is looking right. Okay. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the A button count render, and then I think we're going to call it a night because I want to watch the White Lotus because I missed that last night. So hey, nurse. I mean, hello, nurse. How's it going? Yeah, you caught us. I don't know if you've been lurking, but I think we're just about done. We got the upgrade system here working. So depending on how many elements you have for the minerals are the thing you harvest, and then the elements are what you refine the minerals into. So we've got this thing that just kind of, it tells you what it costs if you can afford it, or if you can unlock it, tells you what it costs, and then you can buy it and walk up the level tree as it deducts your inventory. So we're finally got that in there. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. We're gonna put, let's just take a look at our git diff and we'll see what we changed. Okay, well, we basically made this handleUpgrade method on our upgrade elements that actually takes the elements out of your inventory and updates your active level for the element that you just purchased for, and then we recalculate the dialog for what you can purchase, because it'll update and it'll say, well, now you've already had it unlocked instead of what it used to cost. So that's good. And then we basically, yeah, we fixed a bug where if we were an active level of 0, meaning we haven't even unlocked the element yet, we make the first element purchasable if you can afford it. And then we fixed another bug where we render what level 3 costs if you are an active level of 1. And then we fixed the bug about the A button count, which is basically just we didn't want to close the dialog box if they purchased an item. We wanted it to stay on screen so that they can see their active level update. They could read the new info table and see their inventory actually update real time. So that's basically all we did. This, I don't like this. I think this is bad, but the result is correct. So I know that we increment an A button count if we actually, yeah, and you know what, this is only added on a dialog box 5. Yo, glad to hear you got some good work done today, nurse. This is wrong. A button count -1 here in the refinery state is this is bad. Why do we do this? What's weirder is that only actually, like, it's not broken anywhere else, so maybe we don't even need it. Okay, so yeah, maybe we didn't even need it because it looks correct. So, okay, let me just go. I just want to double check if we print up in the refinery state, if we print up the debugging again for the A button count, which I'm not even seeing right here. Let's just see here if this is right. It should be 0, not 2. What the fuck? But then it actually does the right thing. What the hell? That is so weird. Okay, I mean, I would have thought that it's wrong, but it does the right thing. Which by definition, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I guess, do we leave a note here saying, like, dear God, is this actually wrong? It's working. It's working. I think it works because instead of closing it, as we update the active upgrade element, we're reinitializing the text box, which resets our A button count, which means we don't actually close the screen. So I think that's why it's actually not breaking. But it is strange. I mean, I guess that would, I guess it works. It works. I mean, it really works. Okay, I mean, I guess, you know, it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's probably disgusting. I mean, it is disgusting. I saw it. I did it. Okay. Well, it works. It works. And it's perfect. So we will call it a night there. We'll say that we have implemented handleUpgrade for elements. So we can officially, other than the spellcast upgrade, you know what? Yeah, before we commit this, we actually need to do one more thing, because just because we upgrade the active level doesn't mean the game it plays any differently. So I think what we need to do is actually, when we handle the upgrade, if it's type Flamma, we basically need to say that if we handle an upgrade, we need to go to our spellcast entity count, which should be global spellcast. Let's see, spellcast entity. It's actually local to our scene. So this is not good. We don't have a way. Nice. Yay, I'm glad to hear that, Nurse. Yeah, I don't even hear the music anymore just because it's so, I don't know, it just falls into the background for me. So it just, yeah, it kind of melts away. Okay, we just need to make this spellcast entity not local. And then let's see if it breaks anything, because, well, uh-oh. We're basically, all we got to do is increment our spellcast entity count. So let's try. So right now, if we spellcast, we have 1 flame. If we walk in here and we say, you know what, we've got enough rubies to get level 2, and it says you can refine Flamma to level 2 for 25 rubies. We're gonna go buy it. Son of a... Spellcast entities. What the heck happened, man? What the heck happened? Because this was before, or no, I guess it is as we... Basically, all this is doing is saying, well, for however many numbers this spellcast entity count is, and we say that spellcast entity count, let's just say it gets 2, and see if that does anything. I mean, it should not crash there. We're gonna buy the upgrade, and we crash. What the fuck? If we don't try to modify that variable, then if we buy it, it's fine. So let's just take out. What we'll do is we'll set spellcast entity count to 2 there, but what we'll do is here we'll actually put our spellcast entity count here in our global dependencies, just as an initialization to make sure it happens before we update anything. Son of a bitch. What did you crash on? Attempt to perform arithmetic on count a nil value on scene 11. Yeah, well, we can't set a local count based on a spellcast entity count because the scene is required before we do this. So let's put it up near the top. Oh, this is such... this is such a weird... So like, I don't like this idea that it's global. It probably should be an element on the player. It should be a member on the player of what, because different upgrades will do different things, right? For Flamma, the upgrade is another flame going around you. So if we cast the spell here, we've got 1 flame. But if we want to come in here and get the upgrade for Flamma, and we could say we already got level 1, but we've got rupees to upgrade to level 2, we still freaking crash on scene 590. Which is strange. Because what this is doing is saying for every spellcast entity, so where are we setting this table of spellcast entities? We're initializing it. Let's see here, spellcast entities. Yeah, see? Oh, we need to update. Oh gosh, I just saw it. Because we've never actually updated this live. We've updated it before we ran the game again, but we've never updated it during the game. And it's because, yeah, both our current map and our spellcast entity count needs to get updated with the new spellcast entity count. So our scene here needs to update. So we need to update our scene view dot spellcast entity count to become this new global variable, and then it hopefully wouldn't crash. Our map might crash because that also requires a spellcast entity count. But if on a scene transition we're passing in the current spellcast entity count, it should also work. So let's go to the upgrade, and we'll just make sure our scene spellcast entity count is actually rendering, because we're here in the upgrade element. We're going to upgrade that, and we're going to go to our scene view spellcast entity count and get equal to this new global variable. Let's see. This should be it. We've got one spell because we're at a level 1 Flamma. If we go to level 2, we crash like a motherfucker. Fucking god damn it, dude. This should be the scene's spellcast entity count, not the global. Maybe. We're gonna get the son of a bitch, dude. You know, I would say that if I figured it out, but it's been like 4 days of trying to figure it out, and it's still, the actual upgrade isn't working still. So thank you, but I would believe you if we got it working today, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Because I think the move is, let's do this instead. Let's put it, you know what? I think what I want to do is before I do any changes, we're just going to commit so that we have saved our work for the night before we break it even further. And then we'll try to see if we can fix it by moving it into the player class. And then if we can't do it, I'll just do it tomorrow. But we will do spellcast entity count is local. Okay. So we shouldn't crash, and we need to do... Thanks, nurse. I really should be nicer to myself. Especially because, like, this... I have taught myself all this stuff, you know? I mean, I took, like, 3 tutorials on YouTube, and then just ran off and did my own thing. So it is all kind of... Like, it makes sense why I don't know how to do this, because I just don't know how to do it. Like, I've never done it before, right? So it's all just figuring it out. Let's go to our upgrade element. We won't do this anymore. We won't do this anymore. And in our dependencies, we will... And I'm just going to take it out, actually. In our dependencies, we're just going to not require a global... for that, and let's just see. It should go back. It should go back and work, other than the actual upgrade, right? So we still have a 1 spellcast entity, which is fine, but we need to modify this. We're gonna go to our scene, and we're gonna see anytime we do anything with a spellcast entity count. right? And instead of it being local here, we need to set it. It's so jacked up. Because these aren't reactive variables. They just get initted and then they don't get updated. So when we were going to render the other count, for example, I mean, that's why it was broken. Because we cycle through the count of how many entities there are and we render each one. When we were updating the hey, that makes me happy, nurse. That's good to hear. The flames dude, flames are so hard to animate. I'm sure Salto probably can well, I guess, yeah, any artist can understand how crazy freaking trying to animate fire is. I definitely, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, basically, yeah. You know what? I think we won't do this tonight. We do need to rehaul this because the other thing is depending on what element you're upgrading, it'll do a different thing. So right now, if we just change the spellcast element upgrade based on any upgrade, any successful upgrade, then it's actually wrong. So we kind of need to handle the upgrade for the type of upgrade it is. And we do need to move. See, like, it is so jacked up that we have a local spellcast entity count and then variables for the step. So like as we add more flames, they become symmetrical with one another. So if it's 3, it's like an equilateral triangle. If it's 2, they're on opposite sides. If it's 1, it's just 1. If it's 4, it's a square. If it's 5, it's a circle of 5. So that's what the count is, but we're not actually updating that based on when the spellcast entity count is getting updated. So we kind of need to rehaul the spellcast entity count to be with the player, and that means we have to also move the update into being with the player, and that means we also need to move the render into being with the player based on its own members, not based on the scenes members of spellcast entity count, which is how we're doing it, but also rendering all the spellcast entities. So it's a bigger refactor than just changing a variable to global. So we're not going to do it tonight, but we did get the upgrade working from a visual perspective, just not for the spellcast entity. So it's pretty good. We did good today. Great. Okay, so yeah, we will commit and we'll say we handle upgrade on element upgrade purchase. And then we also need to say that needs entity count refactor for updating spellcast entities. But yeah, there is our commit for the night. Sweet. So we'll run credits and we'll find someone to raid out to here. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate all the chatters and the lurkers. Thanks for hanging out. We'll find someone to raid. Yo, Brightside is on. We haven't raided Brightside in a little while. So let's see. As long as he's doing game stuff, I think we'll raid him. Let's see. Yo, peace out, Salto. Yeah, we'll raid out to Brightside here. He's working on his game. So we'll say what's up to Brightside and we'll call it a night. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Get some rest and good work today.